Hello, good evening, class. This is our lesson 3, which is writing the parts of the research paper. This part is very important because most of you, I have already approved your research title. What has been approved is not a topic, but a research title. Now, when you look at your research title, it's important that you identify the variables in the title. The variables are the areas that you investigate in your paper. For example, modular approach and online learning of grade 4 pupils in Santa Barbara Elementary School. So the topics that you will investigate are modular approach, online learning, and then the grade 4 students in Santa Barbara. Okay, you have to bear that in mind. And you have to be able to identify the variables, the areas of investigation in your study. Those are the most important words in your title. And we will refer back to it as you write the parts of your research paper. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do once you already have an approved title, in order to be able to write effectively the introduction of your study and the review of related literature, you have to identify the variables in your study. Again, the variables are that which you investigate in your study. These are the areas or foci of investigation. Okay, these are the elements that you measure in your study. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, wait. There. So the next task that you are to do is to write the introduction. So you have chapter 1, the introduction, and then I believe I have already uploaded the template, the thesis template. And then you have chapter 1, introduction. This is the first thing that you have to do. You have to write the problem and its background. Okay, so in this part, you are going to write, remember we mentioned that you always have to start with a problem. In research, you always have to start with a problem. So this part, you explain what came about that you investigate the study. What are your reasons why you decided to do this particular study? And in order to do that, I want you to have a paradigm in your mind so that you would be able to clarify the concepts and be able to write clearly and effectively your introduction. Class, I read research papers. No matter how long it is, I read. So don't plagiarize, don't copy paste because I can easily detect it. I have an anti-plagiarism software. Okay, so don't attempt, because when I find out that everything is plagiarized, I usually give a score of 0. Remember that this will be your midterm. Okay, the introduction part will be your midterm. So be careful that you do not copy paste. Okay, how do you now write the introduction? You always start with a general statement. If you can see this inverted pyramid, that's how you're going to write. Okay, you start with a very general statement about a problem in a particular school, and then you try to narrow it down by looking at it from lesser perspective until it becomes very specific. Now, how do you do that? This is an example of a very general statement. Okay, you can start by, remember the problem, you can start with a problem, looking at it from a macro perspective, okay, a wider perspective. For example, here, one challenge that the education sector is facing during this pandemic is the use of modular approach in learning for elementary pupils. See, it's a general problem because most public schools have used the modular learning approach. And as we all know, it's not very effective as compared to face-to-face. That's the general problem. Now, how can we further lessen or specify? How can we make it less general? We are now in this next level. Okay, so given this thesis statement, we say, while modular approach is ideal for students who have poor to no internet access, it nevertheless needs parental support and intervention. So you mentioned that the problem is the use of modular approach. And then in order to make the statement less general, you mentioned that when you use a modular approach, you need parental support and intervention. Let's make it more concrete. We are now in this third level. Okay? This is the situation in Sabang Elementary School where majority of the pupils who are guided by their parents in their studies apparently perform well, while those that are not guided perform poorly. Okay? So we are trying to dig down into the problem slowly. You cannot simply give the problem outright directly, but there has to be a background. That's why it's called the problem and its background. Why the problem? Because in research, we always start with a problem. And in order to find out the significance of that study, you have to explain its background and its importance, why you conducted that particular study. Okay, and then in order to further specify that, you will now end with your research rationale, with your purpose of your study or with the objective of your study. Okay, we are now in this violet color text. Okay, and I'd like to read it to you. Given this context, this study aims to find out the differences in the performance of students who experience parental support in their studies as against those who lack support. So that's how, this is a general overview. It does not mean that when you write your problem and its background, you only have 4 paragraphs. No, you have to develop it so well so that there would be no room for the panel members to ask, why did you conduct this study? Because everything should be reflected already in this particular section, which is the problem and its background. Okay, let's now move to the second. Okay, here are some of the pointers in writing the introduction. I want you to pay attention. I'm teaching this to you so that you would apply it. I know that by the time you write, everything will fly out of your mind and you will write according to how you want it. But remember, I have a rubric and I will gauge, I will measure the level of your understanding and I will grade you based on how you're able to apply everything that I am teaching you right now. So please, 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 pay attention. Okay, so the introduction is at least 4 to 5 pages. So the introduction is chapter 1, and the problem and its background consists of 4 to 5 pages. You need not be very long because the tactics of other students is to really lengthen, make their papers long so that teachers will get tired of reading and then just simply approve their paper. But that's not, it doesn't work for me. Okay, if I see, and I know, if I see that you simply lengthen your paper without any sense, then I might give you a 0. I'm not threatening you, but we need to really do your best in writing this part. Remember, this is your midterms. Okay, so you are 4, at least 7 in a group. So do your best. Once a person is able to submit to the leader, somebody else should be able to edit it. Okay? Don't give me a paper that you have not read or reread. Because when I see typo, errors, that will be a deduction to you. Okay, you should always read, reread, edit your papers. That's your responsibility because there's a certain point in the rubric that is equivalent to a score for your grammar and spelling and other technical aspects of your paper. That's how research is. You are not simply should be good in critical thinking, but you also have to be good in writing, okay, and in expressing yourself well in writing. So 4 to 5 pages, the problem and its background. Focus on the general problem first. Usually, when you start to write, you do not know how to write. You don't know what's the first thing that you need to write. And I'm telling you right now, focus on the problem. You have to make an opening statement that gives the reader an overview about what is waiting for him or her as she reads her paper. That is called the thesis statement. That's the most important part of your paper. Next, provide a context and rationale. We have discussed that. Using the inverted pyramid style, you have to discuss the general background and then the less general and then the concrete and then the specific until you end with the purpose of your study, which is the reason why you conducted your research paper. In the introduction part, which is the problem and its background, you use citations sparingly. Ma'am, why should we use it sparingly? Because you are simply narrating the story of how you made a decision in order to come up with your study. The citations should be very generous in your review of related literature, but not in your context and rationale or the problem and its background. Okay? And then the others that you have mentioned in a general way under the context and rationale, you have to specify that in your review of related literature. Your problem, the problem and its background serves as the foundation for you to write the review of related literature. Okay. So after the context and rationale or the problem and its background, you are now ready for your review of related literature. Now, the review of related literature should be based on your research questions. Remember, I asked you to write the main research questions, okay? So you should base it from your research questions. Actually, you should base it in your title. This is what I'm explaining to you earlier, that you have to look for the variables in your study. Every variable in your title should have an equivalent question. For example, let's take the modular approach and academic performance of grade 4 pupils. You have two variables, modular approach and then academic performance. Okay, so because of these two variables, you need to have 2 questions plus 1. So if you have 3 variables, that's 3 research questions plus 1, 4 in total. So considering the modular approach and academic performance of grade 4 pupils, you have 2 variables. So you need to have a question for the modular approach. You need to have a question for academic performance. And then the third question is you try to relate the online approach and academic performance. Is there a relationship between the online approach and the academic performance? First question, is modular approach effective, for example, in improving the academic performance of grade 4 pupils? Now, the question for academic performance, what is the academic performance of grade 4 pupils? And then is there a relationship between the online learning and the academic performance of grade 4 pupils? And I will discuss that thoroughly later on as we go along. Okay, so each variable of the study should have a counterpart literature. Get it? So each variable of the study should have a counterpart literature. If you have online learning, you need to have a subheading, if that's one of your variables. You need to have a subheading about online learning. Then the second variable, which is academic performance, you need to have a sub-variable of in the review of related literature on academic performance. And then you enter all studies about academic performance under that subheading. And then you enter all the studies related literature under online learning in that particular subheading. I hope you are getting me. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, this is just the general rule on how we write the review of related literature. Now, the length of the review of the RRL is about 20 to 30 pages with 20 to 30 literature citations. Actually, it's about 60 citations throughout the paper, but I minimized it to 20 to 30. Okay, but the more the better, as long as you can write down the text, the in-text citations in your references section. Okay, so the length of the RRL itself is 20 to 30 pages. This will eat up a large number of pages in your paper, and you really have to be very good at it. Okay? There should be clear transitions in paragraphs. You can easily detect a plagiarized document if there is no alignment, if there is no transition in the paragraphs. There has to be connection and connectivity between your paragraphs. Okay, then that's one way to detect a plagiarized document. When you read it, it doesn't make sense. Why? Because the concepts, the paragraphs are not connected at all. Because, of course, you got one from here and then you copy paste this paragraph and then you got one from another study and you copy paste the paragraph. And you, sometimes students do not even read what they copy pasted. Okay, that's very unfortunate because I read papers. Okay, so there should be clear transitions in paragraphs, no copy paste. Again, no copy paste. And you have to cite all your sources. What is cited inside the body of the paper should be reflected in the references section of your paper. And then in the review of related literature, you have to end again with the purpose of your study. Okay, so I have here an example on how you are going to create a research question based on your title. Now, I want you to pay attention carefully. Okay, you have to understand this because the success of your paper depends on how well you are able to formulate research questions that are aligned to your title. Okay, I hope you have your pen and paper and you're taking down notes right now. Here is an example, is a sample title. Effect of parental support on grade 1 pupils' academic performance in modular learning approach. Let us now choose the variables in the title. Remember, it's important that you know the variables. Okay, I want you to think, read it again, and then bear in mind the variables that you think are the ones that we are investigating here. Okay, I'm giving it time. All right, I hope you already had the idea. Okay, so these are the things that we investigate in this study. Parental support. Did you get it? Okay, parental support. What else? Academic performance. Okay, so these are the major variables in your study. meaning these are the things that we want to measure. If there are two variables, there are two instruments, different instruments. If there are three variables, there are three different instruments. So in this case, you have one variable, parental support, another variable, academic performance. You have two variables here, therefore you need to have two instruments, okay? One measuring parental support, another one measuring academic performance. And remember, I mentioned to you that if you have two variables, your research questions should be 2 plus 1. If I have three variables, my research question should be 3 plus 1. Did you get it? So the number of your variables would dictate the number of questions you have in your research. So if you have 5 variables, then how many research questions do you need to have? 5. Okay, good. 6, because 5, the number of variables is always plus 1. Okay, so this is the number of your research questions. Let's try this one now. Because one of our variables is about parental support, we need to have a research question about parental support. And here is our research question. What is the level of parental support for grade 1 pupils? Okay, so that's the question for the first variable, parental support. Now, there's another variable, which is academic performance. So we need to also have a question pertaining to academic performance because these are variables. These need to be measured. And for it to be measured, you need to ask a question first. Okay, so the question for academic performance is number 2. What is the academic performance of grade 1 pupils in modular learning approach? Okay, I hope you're getting it. And then because there are two variables, it's always plus 1. So this is the plus 1 research question. And because it says here effect, okay, can you see? It says here effect. So the third research question would be combining the two variables and using the very term used in the title. Okay, example. Does, okay, this is a typo. Does parental support have an effect on the academic performance of grade 1 pupils? If the word here is relationship, not effect, then we will use the word relationship for the third research question. This is how it will go. Is there a relationship between parental support and academic performance of grade 1 pupils? Now, if this word, if effect, the word used is impact, then we will go with what is there in the title. We will ask, does parental support have an impact on the academic performance of grade 1 pupils in modular learning approach? Okay, so that's how we create research questions. I hope it's clear because we will have a quiz after this and you're going to have a recitation. Okay. The next one, because we already have the research questions, you will now create your review of related literature. How do we create the review of related literature? Remember that we have to pick out the variables in your title. Okay, and we mentioned that these are the important words in your title: parental support, academic performance. And then this is the third research question where we combined the two, parental support and academic performance. And then we can add modular learning approach. So if you notice, every word in the title is provided in the review of related literature. Why? because these are the variables of your study. And in your review of related literature, all variables should be a heading. I hope it's clear. All variables should have a heading. So if parental support is a variable, you have the review of related literature, and then you have the subheading parental support. And all studies and related literature that you can find mentioning parental support, you have to include in your study. Once you have included everything, you now move to the second variable and you write the heading under the review of related literature, which is pupils' academic performance. Now you try to read the literature and everything that you find, related literature about academic performance, you include in under this particular heading in your RRL. And then under the third heading, you try to look for studies that investigated parental support and academic performance in one study. So you have to look for this related literature. And every time parental support and academic performance are mentioned, then you have to gather all these and place these studies under parental support and academic performance RRL. Because now we are into the modular online learning, and then you can include modular learning approach considering the context of parental support and academic performance. Okay, that's how we make RRL. All right. So here is a sample research question: the effect of the vocabulary strategy intervention on students' reading performance. Okay, effect of the vocabulary strategy intervention on students' reading performance. Another one, what is the effect of the remedial reading program on grade 8 students' level of reading comprehension? So these are sample research questions. Okay, so if you notice, you have the variables here, vocabulary strategy, and then reading performance. Okay. All right. And then the other one, for this one, you have the remedial reading and the level of reading comprehension. Okay. So in research, you have one main research question and a number of sub-research questions. In the purpose of your study, you mentioned in the statement of the problem, you mentioned the main question, the main research question is, you mention it, and then other sub-research questions are the following. So if you have 3 variables, you need to have a research question for each plus 1. This is what I'm telling you. And the ideal number of research questions is 3 to 5, not more than 5. If it's more than 5, that's dissertation already. Yours is thesis only. Okay, so this is the review of related literature. I will stop there because I have given you already the overview. You write the review of related literature in the same way that you write the context and rationale. It's inverted pyramid style. You start with a background and then you write in more specific details. Okay? So I will stop right there and I will continue this lesson next meeting because I don't want to bombard you with so much information in so little time. So expect that I will be posting recitation question and then we're going to have a quiz for the midterm. Okay, so thank you very much everyone and have a good night.